about the situation regarding the Roman Catholic Church.
Hey, we're back, everybody. Screwy stuff going on in the air, but I'm back.
Yeah,
You're gonna love him. You're gonna die. Listen.
A country of
Look at him now.
what do you call it? Theology. This is a completely different because the First Amendment that guarantees you freedom of religion, whatever religion may be.
Right, Bob, I'm listening.
But it also guarantees you freedom from religion.
Well,
Okay?
that's true. That's true.
The United States will never, government will never establish a
2 minutes.
church for the United States like Britain did over there.
Right, Bob. We're up against a hard break here. So, what is your point here? We've got.
Could you hold me over?
Yeah, I can hold you over, but I'd like to get to your point.
My point is this: you have the bishops here in Baltimore
Okay.
this week, and they accomplished nothing.
Okay.
Work.
Yeah.
Work.
I'm
Tired. I was doing the Saturdays and Sundays to
Now,
work,
are you
man. I thought
Catholic,
that was
I
horrible.
worked, and I gave
Horrible,
it up
Barry.
about 5 years
I'll talk to you
Okay,
off
now,
the
why
line.
did you?
Up here in Massachusetts.
Joe's here. Joe,
Sure.
$400 million they paid out so far because of this bum, and he kept running the
take a shower, shoot out here. Here I
one
am.
side of the state to the other, covered up.
Isn't that horrible? It's
Every
absolutely-
Saturday, every Saturday's like that. You know that?
Democratic and protect him over
This
there.
isn't
I
about.
used to like John Paul. I thought he was a great man. That changed my mind.
disagree with you. I think that's absolutely deplorable. Absolutely deplorable to
Don't
protect.
worry about these damn priests that are pedophiles.
Yeah, I
Don't worry
agree.
about the Roman Catholic Church or any other church.
That's
Worry
right.
about that little kid that's a victim.
You are so right. I don't
Yes,
disagree.
SNAP. Those kids are grown up now, most of them.
Uh-huh.
They'll know what happened to them.
That's right.
And they're
That's right.
coming up with it.
That's
The thing
right.
to do for these dumb bastards, pardon my language,
Okay.
I'm so pissed off.
I feel you.
Bastards.
Is to have them just like anybody else.
Bastards,
They're not
okay.
above the law. If you have
Sure.
an accusation against one of these bums, take it to the law. 911.
Bob's getting a heart attack again.
Like they would do you or me.
Bob, I think you said that better than anybody else I know could say
They're
that.
above the law, according to this.
I think you're right. I don't think we even have to hold you over. I think you said that better than anybody else I've ever heard say it.
Well, it's a fact. It's a fact that way you want a two government system of law.
Yeah.
Look at the ordinary person and look at the Roman Catholic Church.
Now, if you could, now let me ask you this hypothetical question here, and be nice. And I know you are nice. You're nice.
Joe
man,
Summer.
you're just very upset, and I can understand.
Get him, Bubble, Joe.
But if the
Yeah, we'll get- here we go.
with you, and he was a talk Bob, what would
Yeah,
you-
Joe.
And you would say,
God bless
right,
you, man.
What would you say to him?
I would tell him one thing.
Yes, sir.
They were supposed to meet here last November or December, and he told them to meet them over in Rome and the council over there in February.
Mhm.
He's in the one that's up to his neck. Believe me.
Oh my. Oh my. Well, Bob, I hope they can sort that one
I
out.
think the orders in the Roman Catholic Church comes down to these bishops and so forth.
Mhm.
They come from the very top. And who's the very top?
Well, you're right about that. You are so right, Bob. Thank you so much for calling. One of my favorite states up there. I love Massachusetts. Thank you for calling. We're going to be back. We're going to take a short break. Number here is 410-922-6680. We'd love to hear from you.
To carry on, you're way on top now. Since you left me, you're always laughing. Way down at me.
When your vehicle needs help, Jeff's Automotive Services is the place to go. Your vehicle will be worked on by Automotive Service ASE certified technicians. Jeff services all vehicles, including cars, SUVs.
The
trucks,
phone
medium
is
and light
ringing.
duty. And there are always specials available at Jeff's Automotive
WCBM, the
Services.
Pat McDonough server on Saturday speaking. Who's calling tonight?
682-5700.
Hey,
Jeff's
Bruce.
Automotive Services is locally owned and conveniently located in the heart of Essex.
Oh,
at
big
313 Mason Avenue. Jeff's is the winner of the Best Automotive Service Award for 2019 by the Avenue Newspaper's Readers Poll.
You
Jeff's
sure can.
offers 10% discounts to all seniors and active military
You're the
members.
first one after
And would
commercial.
like
Give
to
you a
thank
whole
our
line of air.
military members for their service.
Yeah, because Pat's not
Jeff's
here.
Automotive Services has a name you can trust. Remember,
You most certainly, Bruce, I'm putting you on right after the commercials.
5700 for Jeff's Automotive Service.
I always had to press the button on that one, man. But Bob, I'm worried that he must have had a heart attack every time he called. All right, hold on, brother. I'll put you right on, Bruce. Hold on after the commercials.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription.
Bruce is going to respond to Bob. Yeah. Hi, Nick. What's up, Betty? Bruce is going to respond to Bob. You missed it, Bob. If you heard, Bob always calls up, starts off slow, and at the end, he's like, "Come on, stay back, boom, boom, woohoo!" We're still flatlining. He gives himself a heart attack, but that's okay. That's okay.
Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription.
How many we got?
Hims has doctors online who can
1 minute.
prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/able. That's forhims.com/able for your first month for just $5. forhims.com/able.
I'm good, but I have a story, and I don't know where to start.
I'm good, but I feel alone in a crowd.
I'm good. Past keeps coming back.
When the service member or veteran in your life says,
I'm good.
"Are you really listening?"
So, how's it going, everybody? Tell you what, it was the Pat McDonough Show. Pat's email we got. I tell you what, you want something? You want a T-shirt? Go to Bluefish Apparel. Get a T-shirt from Bluefish Apparel. Steve Bluford is a good guy. He's a good guy. Longshoreman Local 333. Yeah, Longshoreman Local 333. And call this number, man. You want to call 443-278-4853. That's 443-278-4853. Ask for Steve. He'll give you any kind of T-shirt you want. You're going to love it. You're going to try.
It's everyone's responsibility. Listen to the veteran or service.
You're going to love it.
If you are
He's a nice man.
or know someone who is, call the Veterans Crisis Line and Military Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 for free 24/7 confidential support.
We hire off-duty police officers to patrol our neighborhood.
Okay.
We're so advanced, far advanced with our paperwork on this. They use a 3-ring notebook with forms in it, and they sign in on the form when they come on duty.
That is amazing, Terry.
Well, we are efficient. We will not give them a pencil or a pen. They have to bring their own. So,
It's the Gipp Commando Show, Sunday nights from 10 until 1 p.m. exclusively on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Welcome back. We are so glad you're here at Super Citizen Radio. And you can join us every day.
That was a horse with no name.
USA.com. Make sure you see the Super Citizen TV show tomorrow on my TV at 10 a.m. on Sunday. You can't miss that. It's the only conservative television show in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the only one, folks. So if you don't see that, you don't see the conservative news. You don't see the news that's blacked out of the Sun papers because they don't tell you that. I like them down at the Sun papers. They're nice folks.
Yeah.
And I talk to them, and I know some of the editors, but there are some stories they're very shy
This
about.
new system's really cool,
printing.
man. It's really.
And one of them is this.
They had a little training, but I was all worried.
They did a little bit.
I don't know what they did.
My goodness gracious!
But
There's
hey,
like six.
now I know what they did.
There's $5.2 million missing from a nonprofit that Maya Rockamore Cummings did not report. She has not filed a nonprofit record since 1995. Not one record. She has a 501. She has what's called the Center for Global Policy Solutions, and she's not filing any records. So nobody knows where the money went. And there's a gentleman by the name of Robert Wood Johnson. It's a Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. That is the Johnson & Johnson company up in Delaware. And they gave Miss Rockamore Cummings $5.2 million for her for-profit. $5.6 million for her for-profit and $5.2 million for her nonprofit.
A lot of money.
Close to $12 million that's unaccounted for. No records are shown. Nothing. And
But let's go back so we can try to hopefully understand this.
Okay.
The money was given to the for-profit and non-profit for what?
To do whatever. You'd have to ask Maya Rockmore Cummings. I don't know. It's a nonprofit that's supposed to help people, but she hasn't filed any records since 1995, so we don't know.
And this is Johnson & Johnson, like the big company, like the big corporation?
Yes. But the problem, and the National League and Policy Center, which is a government watchdog group, has contacted and filed a complaint with the IRS. So they are looking into it. But
on a basis
this is a major story.
That it was a conflict of interest because
It's
her husband.
Total conflict of interest because it's not just Johnson & Johnson that gave him up. It's Google, JP Morgan, Prudential, and every one of those folks, every one of those companies has business interests before the House Committee on Open. And guess who the chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Reform is? Elijah Cummings, Maya's husband.
Wow.
So they're giving money to Maya, and then they're running to her husband saying, hey, can you help us out a little bit? Come on. I mean, how blatant can that be? Why isn't this a story? Why aren't people reporting it? Now, it's been alleged, but the facts of the matter is she hasn't filed any records since 1995. And if you have a nonprofit, you have to file every year.
Okay.
You know that as well as I do, because we've been on boards.
Yeah.
So,
but you did a story on this.
I did do a story on
and
this.
it ran on TV.
Ran on TV. It's running now online. It's getting a gazillion hits online. This is really, really important, and it's really bad because I don't want to say Baltimore City and Baltimore County run dirty politics. I'm not saying that. I didn't say that, right? But Maya Cummings is the head of the Democrat Party in the state of Maryland.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
And when Elijah...
I think she was supposed to run for some office. Was it governor?
She ran for governor.
Governor,
and she couldn't get past go. I mean, she stopped. She couldn't get past go. So as a consolation prize, they made her the head of the Democrat Party in the state of Maryland. Okay. But when Elijah Cummings was recently in Johns Hopkins, Elijah Cummings has a heart problem, and he had a valve replaced, and he spent a couple months
this system's really cool, man. I'm very happy.
While he was on he might, and I'm not Elijah Cummings, I don't know what he thought, but while he was in that hospital bed, he said if he could not continue his seat, as to give it to his wife, who was his young wife, who was like 20 years his junior. Now, if you follow this out, this woman already had $11 million in donations from one person that had been before her husband, and she's going to be taking his place. And he gave it directly to her.
Well,
isn't that considered a bribe in some countries?
I think this goes back to what you were talking to me about before the show started, which is that when many people go to Capitol Hill, they are people of modest means, but by the time they have held office for some time and they leave, they are people of great means.
Oh, it's true. The average congressman, when he comes to Washington,
that means we're all gonna die.
The average congressman, unless you go as a multimillionaire, most of them come not poverty-stricken, but not very wealthy. When they leave, if they've stayed there for any time at all, they're worth approximately $7 million.
Wow.
$7 million. And part of the problem is this. And here's a problem every single person that hears my voice tonight should be angry about. They really should be angry about. If you work on Wall Street and you hear something about a stock and you buy that stock predicated on the information someone told you, that, and Counselor, correct me if I'm wrong, is insider trading.
It is insider trading, and somehow or another, and
you can go to jail if you're on Wall Street.
I think that's why Martha Stewart is in jail.
That's Martha Stewart, if you don't believe me, right?
Martha Stewart.
Insider trading, Martha Stewart. Now, let me tell you this, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm just so hot about this right now. Bought 5,000 shares of a Visa credit card company while they were building a bill in Washington for the purpose of helping credit card companies make money. Right? So she buys 5,000 shares. In 2 weeks, her 5,000 shares that she bought in now this is alleged, but it's not really because it's all, we have all the facts.
Right.
She bought for $40 a share, became worth $60-some a share in a couple of weeks after the bill was written.
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show, Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight?
Insider trading done in Washington by a congressperson
WCBM,
in
Pat
order
McDonough Show,
to
Ron
make
Savage
money,
speaking.
and
Who's
it's
calling tonight?
completely legal.
Hey, Rich.
It is until they have some type of legislation that would
what,
forbid members of
where you calling
Congress,
from, Rich?
both Senate and the House, from being able to be essentially
And what would you like
being
to
able to
talk
be
to our
permitted to
guests
do
tonight about, Rich?
insider trading.
There's a bill right now in the House.
There's another pass.
Yeah, well, no, it's so far down on the docket. If you ask congressmen about this bill, about stopping insider trading, they won't even know what you're talking about because they all
Democrat Party.
know.
Rich, we got
Too
Bruce,
many
and
of them.
You're next after him.
Well, it's
So you got it. Yeah, thank you
as
for
we
calling,
say in the
Rich.
law, it's a
Hold on.
loophole, something that's there, and it's something that at some point
That's how you do it. That's how it's done.
Held to the
Two
same
things.
standards that other Americans are held to. But I think that's the problem. Even though we're living in this capitalistic society, it would appear to some people, especially those of the political hierarchy, are able to do things that
I
the average
second that
American cannot do, and
emotion.
would, in the case of Martha Stewart, even go to jail for.
You're right.
So I mean, it's certainly a problem. But I mean, at least, I mean, in the present sense that we have everything, the economy is at least at a, thank goodness to President Trump, a good state.
The economy is rolling.
And I think that's one of the things that, I'll be honest with you, what the biased media has not talked about, that the economy has roared back from the housing crisis of 2008. And you know, I had a strange thought the other day that, you know, 9/11 was a hit, and it was a hit to the economy, and then comes the housing crisis in 2008, and we really didn't get our act together under the Obama administration. And here comes President Trump, and whether or not you're for or against him, one thing that you cannot take away from him is the fact that the economy got back on track. Unemployment is at an all-time low for all groups. And then we're moving forward. Housing prices are rising, and the train is rolling again.
It truly is. It's the lowest.
And this is why I'm going to tell you something. This is why President Trump is not going to be impeached. You're not going to impeach a president, and the economy's rolling. It ain't happening.
69% of the public do not want Trump to be impeached.
And then
there's 5 people in Congress pushing Nancy Pelosi.
And then as the scenario goes on, the investigation, blah blah blah, Russian collusion, they come out with the report. They come out with this attorney that turns to be a government witness who doesn't know anything about it. And to me, that was the first sign as a legal person, as an attorney. I said, hey, if his closest person doesn't have any evidence against him, then there's nothing there. And lo and behold, he testified, the lawyer, doesn't know anything about any collusion. The Mueller report comes out, no collusion, basically. That's pretty much what the report says.
You just led me right.
You know what I mean?
You led me, and we've got people on the phone lines. I'm sorry. I'm going to get to you. I promise you. If you're there, you're going to be on the air.
So
it's just, let me give the number again one more time. 410-922-6680. 410-922-6680. We have some lines open. Give us a call. Out of state, 800-922-6680. 800-922-6680. And we're waiting to talk to you about this. What you said was so.
I mean, I think the
equal justice under the law.
You know where it says that at? You know what it says?
It says right on the front of the Supreme Court.
Oh, that's why I love you. That's why I love you. You know what I mean? What it says.
Well, let me tell you this too.
I used to work on Capitol Hill, and I would always admire that when I would walk back down to the foot of Capitol Hill. When I walk by the Supreme Court, equal justice under law. And if you're a lawyer, it means a lot to you.
Yes.
It means it strikes.
If you're not a lawyer, it should mean a lot to you.
It should mean it should mean a lot to you if you're American.
And I tell you, this is what's chilling.
Yeah.
This is what absolutely chills me to the bone. Peter Strzok, the FBI, and everybody knows who that is. If you don't know who it is, look it up. Peter Strzok, when he interviewed Uma Abedin, right, and Cheryl Mills, who was Hillary Clinton's head of her campaign, chief officer, Cheryl Mills. The FBI called him in to interview her. Cheryl Mills asked for immunity, and she got it, which was insane. She shouldn't. She should not have been given that. Uma Abedin did not. And she was asked directly, did you know that Hillary Clinton's email and server had been hacked? That was a question from Peter Strzok. Uma Abedin said, oh, no, I didn't know they were hacked. I didn't know they were hacked. Total lie. She knew they were hacked in 2011. There was an email that showed that she knew that. There was a whole chain of emails that showed that.
But I really think, and I hate to describe everything as a court, but I think the court made its decision on that, which was the election in 2016, which is that Trump won. They didn't go for that. I don't think.
2 minutes.
I don't really think they had any credence.
Are you sure?
And nobody believed the Clintons.
Yeah, just for commercial.
And the Clintons essentially lost the election.
No, but it has nothing to do. I know what you're saying is correct, but it has nothing to do with that. The point is she lied to the FBI. She was forgiven not by the courts. She was forgiven by Comey, who said, we have to forgive failing memories. We have to forgive failing memories. But
when you have fun, it just goes and it goes,
when he couldn't
and then you don't know.
The Russian ambassador,
I have fun all the time.
The conversation he had with
I
him.
thought it was freaking May 5th. I mean, June the 5th. I thought it was June the 5th, right? It wasn't June the 5th. It was freaking June the 5th. So, take it easy. Time's going too fast here.
Equal justice under the law.
Dear Lord, please
Chilling.
take it easy.
We have probably about a minute left. I'm gonna take one of these calls. We're gonna talk for about 60 seconds. Bruce, you've been on for a while in Parkville. You want to talk about the Catholic Church?
Yeah, the Catholic Church. I went to Catholic school. I think it was great. I know a lot of things come about different things about, like Bob said.
Sure.
Bob's been on the radio, but he's not a Fed like they call me from the radio.
Yeah.
But I had a great school. Calvert Hall, St. Mary's Buildings and Calvert Hall and Lorilla and everywhere I went. I think the Catholic Church is a great institution. I know there are a lot of malfeasance or whatever in the Catholic Church, which are wrong about priests and different things.
Right.
And the next thing I want to say, I still love the Catholic Church. I should go to church more. Another thing about Donald Trump. I went out for Donald Trump when he first come out, and everybody laughed that Donald Trump doesn't have a chance. Yeah. I got thrown out off the radio in a sports show and all these years because as a candidate down, everybody was laughing at Donald Trump.
Everybody would laugh. They ain't laughing no more. They ain't laughing no more.
You are a very, very, very bright man. Let me tell you something.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
Mike Pence. I hate when people say Mike Pence is too religious. How can you be too religious?
I totally agree with you, Bruce. And what a great way to wrap up this segment is with your call, because you are right on the money, and God for calling.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we love you back.
We love you too.
All right. It's just a complete love fest here. We're going to make everybody sick at home. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? We've got Richard here in Pikesville. Let's talk to Richard a little bit. Richard, are you there?
I am indeed here. I just want to show you how annoyed I am.
Oh, boy, okay.
People who refer to the Democratic Party as the Democrat Party, like you do. And this was invented by a really brilliant Republican named Joe McCarthy. And he's the one who started this 40 or 50 years ago, 60 years ago. And it's nice to know that you're continuing in his footsteps.
Richard, are you Richard, are you mad at me?
Well, no, actually, what I really like about you guys,
okay.
What I really like about you guys is that you talk at the same time as each other, so no one can understand what you're saying. I think that's a very good thing that you're doing for everybody.
I didn't know we did that, Richard. I appreciate you. Now, are you a Democrat?
I don't know what that means. I mean, I vote generally for Democrats. I voted for Republicans too.
Okay.
Who'd you vote for in the last election?
What's your party affiliation?
I'm in Maryland. I'm affiliated Democrat because otherwise you can't really participate in the primaries.
But who'd you vote for in the last election, presidential election?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
So you're okay. I see. All right. Well, you know what?
You call that idiot.
Everybody has their own point of view. I am glad you called.
But you know, when I vote for a Republican, I refer to their party as the Republican Party. I don't give them another name, call them another name.
Well, it's different.
I know it's different when you do it because you do it, but otherwise it's not really that different.
Well, it's different. It's completely different. What you're saying is completely different. But I do appreciate your calling in. I do appreciate your listening.
What?
And I'm going to take a break, and then we are going to be back after this word from our sponsor.
Pressure has slid offshore. We've got a cold front that will approach from the north on Sunday and then kind of stall out nearby on into
WCBM,
Monday.
Happy Garden Show, bro.
Increased
Speaking,
opportunities
who's calling
for rain.
tonight?
Now tonight, maybe a stray shower late. We'll fall back into the upper 60s. Some early sun for Sunday. Scattered thunderstorms.
No, he's
in the
off
afternoon.
tonight.
Strong
Well, we got
gusts
two
and
other
winds
guests that are
possible.
filling in for him, and
Mid-180s
you're
for
welcome
high.
to go in
Scattered
there.
storms ahead for Sunday night. And chances for those afternoon thunderstorms on Monday.
All right, sir. Call next week. Pat will be
Talk
in.
Radio 680.
Thank you, sir. Happy Father's Day.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation. Only available if the physician determines the prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to 4hims.com/able. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/able. That's 4hims.com/able for your first month for just $5. 4hims.com/able.
Frank Luber here. When it comes to your next home remodeling project, put it in the hands of a company with impeccable credentials. Put it in the hands of AES Builder and Home Improvements. For over 30 years, AES has delivered good old-fashioned craftsmanship and is a company you can trust. Plus, you get their exclusive in-home concierge service. AES has won the Michael Award for the best addition built in Maryland and the Torch Award from the Better Business Bureau for outstanding ethics. And to top it all, they've earned 43 Super Service Awards from Angie's List for exemplary customer service. Tim Munson at AES guarantees, when we're done, you'll be happy. If you're not happy, we're not done. Folks, that says it all. Right now, call AES for their WCBM Super Summer Special, 1-800-787-SAVE. That's 1-800-787-SAVE, or online at aeshome.us. AES, always exemplary service.
Sharing has never meant as much as it does now. We share the things we love most in life for the world to see. But what if we could actually do more with our sharing than just collect likes? What if this sharing could be used to make a difference? Now there's a place where we can put all that sharing to good use. The National MS Society is asking people to make a difference and share what they love with someone else who loves it too. Whether it's surfing, dancing, or whatever is important to you, we've created a place that'll help you get your experience out to the world. If you have a story, share it. If you have a solution, share that too. Join us at wearestrongerthanms.org, because together we are stronger.
Listen every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. for a broadcast from the internationally known St. Jude Shrine in Baltimore. St. Jude is the patron saint of despair and hopeless cases. Join us in prayer every Sunday from 6:05 to 6:20 a.m. on WCBM.
Join Rod Baroe of Safe Retirement Solutions along with Wade Kaufman and Clyde Allen live Mondays and Thursday evenings from 6 to 7 p.m. with encore programming Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 2 p.m. exclusively on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to 4hims.com/able. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication.
I love the system. It's a nice system. They got a lot more songs.
And incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/able. That's 4hims.com/able for your first month for just $5. 4hims.com/able.
Sweetie, want some fruit? You have to use the right tool for the job. A power drill is the wrong tool to slice fruit. Just like an antibiotic is the wrong tool to treat viruses, including colds and flu. Antibiotics are only needed for certain bacterial infections. When they aren't needed, antibiotics won't help you. And
No, it's okay. I got to get back to
ask your
your
healthcare professional when
You were very cool.
antibiotic
Wait a minute,
is
hold
the
on one
right
second.
tool, and when it's not. Visit cdc.gov/antibiotic-use.
It's Baltimore's #1 marketplace.
Hey, Bruce, I'm just
Radio
getting coming to
Flea
show
Market
this.
with Jay Harris,
15-second radio
Sunday
flea market.
mornings from 7 until 8 a.m. exclusively on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Who picks this great music?
No.
Bill Withers.
Yeah,
There he is. It's got to be on the screen there. It's the Wizard.
DJ in the booth. DJ in the booth.
That takes me back. Old Bill Withers. I remember him well. The Wall, and the tariffs.
Well,
What do you think? Was that a brilliant move on Trump's
I
part?
think it was just like better than brilliant. I mean, I think the idea of not really needing Congress to be able to do this and to be able to attack the whole immigration problem independently and from a presidential standpoint was just pure genius. And I think it brought the Mexican government to the table to come about meaningful change in how the Mexican government is operating, both from their southern border and as well as their northern border with the United States, to try to effectuate some change. We are a country that, for whatever reason, has not been adequately protecting itself on its southern border. And we've been ignoring the problem. And the Congress has not, and the powers that be have not come up with an adequate immigration solution. I think President Trump and I think it comes from his past life being a corporate billionaire, came up with an end-around solution to attack this particular problem that was just simply ingenious.
I totally agree.
I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, if I could have given him an award, he'd have had one for me, because it just was an independent way of attacking this problem that we have been ignoring. And I mean, I get it. Different people have different positions on this, but understanding that this is something that has to be dealt with, he came up with what I would describe as a quick way to get all the parties, necessary parties, to the table to effectuate meaningful solutions. I mean, I hear different things about Trump, but sometimes if it's not Trump coming up with this independently, or if it's his staff, he's got a very bright staff in terms of coming up with solutions to effectuate change.
I think that is, I think you hit it right on the head. I think it was a brilliant move. It was totally brilliant. And when he first announced the tariffs, I had a bunch of my liberal friends jump on me and said, "He's doing these tariffs. You can't do it. It's the dumbest thing I ever heard." I said, "Did you ever read The Art of the Deal?" And they had. So they didn't know what he was doing.
I really don't think that many people understand the power of trade and the power that the United States has, because we are the ultimate marketplace for goods. And understanding that if people can't get their goods to the United States, then they have problems.
It's true. What you're saying is absolutely true.
And that's both on the Mexican front as well as on the China front.
And they just stepped through so quickly on their southern border and stopped some of the caravans like immediately in their tracks.
Yeah, immediately.
I mean, it was like a no-brainer. It was just,
really. But I mean,
he got very little credit for what he got. No credit in the media, none.
Right. But I think that's the media has been very consistent in its bias against Trump. I think that the problem is getting to be the Trump administration is effective, and there are these the mainstream media is lashing out in desperation at anything that they can possibly even get a handle on to make some attempt to manufacture a story against Trump, because time is ticking. See, that's the key thing with this whole thing. 2020 is pretty much here. Because President Trump has been president, the world didn't blow up, the world didn't end.
That's right. And they don't have anything to it.
As a matter of fact, the world has gotten better.
The world has gotten better.
The world has gotten better.
There has been no apology to it.
Because I'm going to tell you something. One thing about Trump, and I'll say this, and also during the Bush administration, when you have a strong president in office, people really don't want to play games with you.
No.
Right. I mean, I heard Trump on radio, TV talking about the lack of North Korea and doing nuclear testing since there's been some negotiation between the parties. Big part is you got a strong president.
Right.
And you got a president nobody really wants to bother.
Well, the Democrats this time around have nothing to run on.
Right.
They have nothing to run on other than the fact that they hate Trump. But hating Trump is not a policy. So what they have done is they've moved so far to the left, to a completely socialist agenda, that the majority of the population is totally against. So what they have tried to the entire campaign on is morals instead of Trump's actions,
policies,
and his policies. Which election on that.
Right.
I don't think election has ever been lost to a second-term president when the economy was doing
well. I think the rhetoric is basically we don't like you.
Right. That's
not even we don't like your policies. It's just we don't like you as a person.
But that's what liberals do. That's what liberals do. Liberals act out of emotion. They don't act logically. So you hear all of this rhetoric about we hate Trump, we hate Trump, we hate Trump. I see it on Facebook all the time. And when I'm in Facebook, and I don't go on Facebook that often, but when I'm there, I just don't hang out in places where people all love Trump. I would rather see the people who don't like Trump so I can understand what their rationale is for not liking Trump. And their rationale is non-existent in the one or two places I've seen online. It has all been nothing to do with policy, nothing to do with the economy, nothing to do with the way we are growing as a nation and unemployment, and everything to do with personality.
Right. It's getting to be
we don't like him because of this.
Right. And that's why I don't think that if Biden is the candidate for the Democratic Party that they will succeed. Because I don't think Biden really stands for anything. From a policy standpoint.
Yeah, Biden.
From a policy standpoint.
Yeah. But they're certainly hiding him well. They're calling him hiding Biden. Because they're not letting him out.
I think if you think about it, you've got a candidate that doesn't really have any particular strong qualities.
No.
Then the best thing to do is to hold that candidate close to you, and then really get the candidate. This is all predicated upon hoping that Trump makes some type of mistake. They did that with the election with Hillary Clinton, and the problem is that despite the fact that President Trump is not an attorney, he debated very well. And Hillary Clinton really had problems with him in terms of debate. He held his own and really won the debates.
Yeah, well, that's
so. I think that the whole hope will be. I do think that Biden, even though I think he's certainly of less substance in terms of having positions on policies, even versus Hillary Clinton, is probably a better debater. But the problem is, he doesn't really have any policies to stand on. If Biden were elected president in 2020, what difference would it make in terms of what policies would he effectuate to make the world a better place? And he has not really articulated anything other than we don't like Trump. No one else has articulated anything other than we don't like Trump. That's the whole.
Well, AOC.
2 minutes heartbreak.
AOC has articulated the new Green Deal, where we get rid of cows, and
but the problem with anything green, I'm gonna be honest with you, is shale. The problem is that the United States is now exporting more oil than it's taking in, and I believe it's the same thing for gas. So, and this goes back to Trump saying before he got into office, we're going to become basically the energy creator, not just an energy user. And again, going back to business, it's come out to the fact that that's the U.S. is now no longer under the real thumb of foreign exporters of oil and gas to the United States of America. No longer are these days when we would listen to the radio and it was almost like the EF didn't have something to say when OPEC was going to make a decision on whether or not they were going to shorten supply or create more supply, and how it affect price and how it would affect the price.
Right.
Problem with green is that there's enough fossil fuel to last everybody till kingdom come. Now, in terms of how that ultimately affects climate change and everything else, that's certainly an issue that can certainly be debated. But in terms of whether or not there's enough energy at an affordable price in terms of fossil fuel, there's enough energy to last us many lifetimes.
I think that's true. The number here, 410-922-6680, 410-922-6680. If you're out of state, the number is 800-922-6680, 800-922-6680, and we will be right back after this word.
Stay connected with stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore, and WCBM.com.
Not sure they're buying what the administration's selling. I'm Jay Metzler, Fox News. President Trump blames Iran for Thursday's attacks on oil tankers near the Strait of Hormuz. Some Democrats who want his job, somewhat skeptical.
Several 2020 Democratic candidates say that they need to see this evidence for themselves before they can accept the Trump administration's conclusion that Iran is behind these attacks. And amongst those are Senators Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar. And they are concerned that the U.S. is moving closer to war with Iran, and they are warning President Trump not to take military action without congressional approval. This afternoon, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who served in Afghanistan, the Navy Reserve, said he is seeing a pattern here reminiscent of the rush to war with Iraq. Republican lawmakers are largely supporting the president's efforts to curb Iran's destabilizing behavior in the region.
Fox's Garrett Tenney. Germany's government wants more evidence that the video released by the Pentagon allegedly showing that Iranian boat removing an unexploded mine from the side of the Japanese-owned tanker is in fact legit. Britain, however, says no actor other than Iran could have been responsible. Several Democrats running for president addressing African-American voters at an economic forum in South Carolina today. Now second in some national and statewide polls, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I think the way that we win is to go out and talk to people all across this country about our plans for the future, about our vision, about what we're really willing to get in there and fight for.
President Trump and his re-election campaign had dismissed Warren as a political threat. Now they are reassessing that, sending out trackers with cameras and doing opposition research. This is Fox News.
Fox Nation is the place for exclusive content you can't get anywhere else. New opinion shows from Maura Ingram, Tucker Carlson, and Tommy Lahren you can only get by signing up for Fox Nation. Plus, the real stories behind the headlines, documentaries on Chappaquiddick, Jimmy Hoffa, and more that you'll only find on Fox Nation. More of the opinion done right you crave? It's on Fox Nation. Documentaries and specials you can't get anywhere else? They're on Fox Nation. So go to foxnation.com today and sign up now for Fox Nation. Opinion done right now.
Brett Bear.
When someone watches the news, they want someone they can trust. Our job is to cut through the talking points.
Martha McCallum.
We're going to ask the tough questions because there's a lot of conventional wisdom out there that needs to be challenged.
Shannon Bream.
What I'm doing is making sure that whatever is developed through the day, people are fully informed from coast to coast.
We're 24/7 news, but we're really down to the minute.
We're going to be fearless. We're going to be fair. Whether it's 4 a.m. or midnight, we're there.
Fox News Channel. Real news, real honest opinion.
The FAA now investigating a hard landing at Newark Airport this afternoon. United Airlines flight out of Denver dipped and then
3 or 4 times.
It bounced, passenger Duncan Girding says. Then the plane skidded off the runway. It had blown tires, busted landing gear, and a hole in the fuselage. The state of Arizona wants to shut this place down.
A 28-year-old male patient at the Hacienda Healthcare Facility in Phoenix was found with maggots swarming around his surgical incision twice. Hacienda is a medical center for individuals with intellectual disabilities, and it is the same facility where a woman in a vegetative state gave birth after allegedly being raped by a male nurse. A spokesman for the facility says maggots were not found on any other patients, and nothing indicates that this is a persistent problem. The health department is taking steps to revoke Hacienda's license. Jane Freeze,
a famed director, dead at 96.
Franco Zeffirelli made his mark in the theater and with opera, but it was in film that the Italian-born director earned his greatest acclaim. Born in Florence in 1923, he'd become one of Italy's most prolific movie makers, who made it his mission, he said, to make culture available to the masses. His works were a great success in the U.S., beginning with Romeo and Juliet, a box office smash in 1968. It went on to become the most successful Shakespearean film ever, taking in $52 million. In 1977, Zeffirelli scored big again on the small screen. The miniseries Jesus of Nazareth became a hit worldwide, earning more than $300 million. Critics, however, did not care for 1981's Endless Love, starring a young Brooke Shields. Just as he predicted, it too was a box office smash.
Fox's Karen McHugh Zeffirelli also produced and directed operas and plays. I'm Jay Metzler, and this is Fox News.
High pressure has slid offshore. We've got a cold front that will approach from the north on Sunday and then kind of stall out nearby on into Monday, and we'll see increased opportunities for rain. Now tonight, maybe a stray shower late. We'll fall back into the upper 60s. Some early sun for Sunday. Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Strong gusty winds are possible. Mid to upper 80s foot high. Scattered storms ahead for Sunday night, and chances for those afternoon thunderstorms on Monday. I'm Jeff Eno from the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water spots on your walls or ceilings? Do you have leaks around your chimney or skylights? If so, then you may need to repair or replace your roof before the damage escalates. Call Wallace Roofing at 410-653-700. Wallace Roofing, family owned and operated, is your full-service roofing company, specializing in steep and flat roofs, all types of metal roofs, gutters, downspouts, and skylights. They do residential and commercial roofs. Getting a roof repaired is something most homeowners dread. And when the roof does need repair, it's important to get not only the finest quality materials available, but a fair and reasonable price on installing those materials as well. So if your roof is showing signs of wear or other problems, call Wallace Roofing, 410-655-3700. 410-655-3700. Wallace Roofing does roof repair and replacement. Call Wallace Roofing today at 410-655-3700. Their MHIC number is 156. Wallace Roofing. Above all, a good roof.
The WCBM studios are sponsored by Safe Retirement Solutions in Annapolis and Towson, 410-266-1120, or visit saferetirementsolutions.com.
The views and opinions you hear on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and WCBM.com are not necessarily those of the owners, management, employers, and advertisers of WCBM, but they should be.
The Pat McDonough Show is brought to you by Rally for America. And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Marchand. Welcome back to the Pat McDonough Show. Pat is talking with Veteran Group tonight, and he wishes he could be here, but he is there talking to them, and he's glad to be there, and he can't be in two places at once, so I am here filling in. Frank Kelly, former state senator Frank Kelly, resigned yesterday from the University of Maryland Medical System Board of Directors, just days after fellow board members had asked him to return. So he resigned temporarily, and they asked him to come back. This is amid the continued fallout over self-dealing scandal that have rocked the hospital network. Now, this is all part of the Catherine Pugh, Healthy Holly, mayoral nonsense that was going on. Now, Francis Kelly was a senator who helped write the laws that govern how hospitals receive money. So he knew the ins and outs of doing this better than anyone probably in the state. And he used that position to garner, allegedly, used that position to garner millions and millions of dollars. I think he was getting about $3.5 million a year for his insurance companies. He had medical insurance companies. And he was on the board. Now, do the math. He was making millions of dollars a year. He was on the board for nearly 35 years under six governors. My goodness gracious, 79 years old. He and his sons are all resigning, as well they should all resign. Something is rotten in Denmark here. Truly rotten. I think everybody on that board should resign. I really do. I think they should all resign and start another board.
That's a good point. But I mean, I still think it leaves, again, the $64,000 question is leadership for Baltimore City and what's Baltimore City ultimately going to do.
Baltimore City wants, now they're talking about Baltimore City merging with Baltimore County.
Oh,
think about it, it kind of makes sense.
It would be a complete disaster.
Well,
Dana,
did you know Baltimore City is
it would
the
be
only,
like the Titanic
Baltimore
runs into
City,
Lusitania.
Baltimore City is the only city in the United States of America that's not really within a county's government. That is a separate government. Every like Chicago is in Cook County. Every city
Every
is in somebody else's
city.
county, as a part
Except
of
for
the county.
Baltimore.
Except for Baltimore. It's the only independent city like that has really that's completely
Really?
separate.
So you think it's not such a bad
idea? The rest of the country is like that in terms that the city is a part of the county, the government. Because think about it, Baltimore City is not managing itself right now. Baltimore City has an extremely high crime rate. Ever since the riots, we've been looking at roughly about 300 murders.
Right.
You can't even go downtown to Harbor Place, and I hate to say it, and I get beat up.
Well, you shouldn't go down. I'll say it. Don't go downtown because it's a dangerous place to go.
It's true, but I mean, that can't ultimately be the answer. It's going to have to be something that's going to be worked out and cleaned up.
Did you see? We did a report. This is Super Citizen Radio, and every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on my TV in Baltimore. If you're in Baltimore, if you're not, you can go to supercitizenusa.com and watch our shows there after they're televised on my TV. Well, I did a thing on the squeegee kids in Baltimore. What a horrible problem. What a horrible problem. If you don't pay them, they'll break your windshield. Not all of them. Some of them.
Some of them you have issues with it.
One kid threw something in a car and hit some woman in the face.
But you would hate for Baltimore City to be at a place where people are comfortable coming downtown.
It's already there.
I understand, but it seems like then we should be working towards some solutions to alleviate it.
Okay, stop the squeegee kids from harassing people.
I think it's bigger than squeegee.
Okay, and stop
squeegee kids
stop people from murdering people.
Okay.
How's that?
Well, let's go back and why is that happening? From a bigger
Are you going to say because they need jobs?
I don't know what the solution is. It's simply a question. I think the issue is that Baltimore City, unlike many other cities on the Eastern Seaboard, is not progressing. Like New York, I'm sure Philadelphia's got a lot of problems. So maybe I shouldn't mention Philadelphia, but DC is progressing.
What DC is progressing?
I think Boston's doing relatively well. See, I look at the East Coast as being really one big city with this thing called the train tracks, which rise in between the cities, which is like one gigantic subway system. Baltimore is a weak link in it. Mega city.
Baltimore is a place where more and more people are afraid to go. People who live in the suburbs aren't going. I know Jack Young, who I really like, and I've liked for a number of years. He's a wonderful guy. Wants to build a Ferris wheel like they have in London, and he thinks that's going to cure the problem. It won't cure the problem. I mean, it'd be a nice Ferris wheel. But my God, you'd have to run from your house downtown and jump on the Ferris wheel and hope you don't get shot or mugged before you get on the Ferris wheel. I mean, my goodness gracious, you can't. Baltimore City, at this point, probably should be
McDonough show, Ron. So I was speaking who's calling tonight.
Well, that's one solution, but understanding the power of relation of Baltimore on the Eastern Seaboard, that's not going to happen. And it would appear that people will come up with solutions to make Baltimore City a safe place, so it can be a very productive citizen. It's one of the major seaports, I would even say, in the world. We have some positives in Baltimore City that I think that can certainly be used to move the city forward. I think certainly crime is one of its major drawbacks that needs to be addressed. The squeegee kids are kind of far down the line, but it's one of the symptoms of a dysfunctional city. But I think the other thing is not just the squeegee kids, it's got a lot of people begging as you come in and out of downtown Baltimore and jump on 95. You got all these people begging, which I think is a fentanyl heroin problem that needs to be addressed. Understanding
this guy calls from San Francisco.
They are in Baltimore City.
Hey, Charles Savino.
I won't believe he's on the phone right now. I'm very excited about this. Okay. We have somebody from Nancy Pelosi's district in San Francisco, the home of the crap app. You know what the crap app is?
No.
There is a thing called, you know what this is, Ron?
No.
Ron, our producer.
Yeah.
There is a thing called the crap app. Mm-hmm. And the crap app works with people in San Francisco to help to clean the streets.
Oh, yeah,
because
I saw
it's
that.
so bad.
Wow.
This lets you know, lets the people in the city know where it's
that.
really vile and gross and filthy, so they can send a truck with a hose to squirt off the sidewalk. Wow. It's called the crap app. Wow. That's how bad. Actually, right now in California, there's 68,000 homeless people all hanging out using one porta potty. Very, very, very
probably
bad.
All those taxes.
San Francisco. But you know what?
Moving to Arizona.
Right. But why should we talk about this? We've got Dave on
Yeah.
Dave on the line from San Francisco. Dave, I'm so glad you called in. How are you?
Yeah, how are you, Pat? You used to be a politician, right?
Well, this is not Pat. I'm filling in for Pat. Pat's talking to a veterans group tonight. My name is Frank Marchant, and I'm filling in for Pat. But Dave, when I saw you called in, I thought this is great because I'd love to speak to somebody from San Francisco.
Well, the reason I ask about the politicians, if you remember back to 9/11, the terrorists were everywhere. Oh my God, with a box cutter they could destroy the world, right?
Right.
And so one of the scams of 9/11 was they shut down the toilets. They shut down the public toilets. And so San Francisco went from having something like, and you remember, we're San Francisco, we're a tourist city. We get a minimum of 2 million tourists a year, and we probably get as many as 4 million tourists a year. And they only had 130 or so public toilets down at the beach and down at the, in the park and playgrounds and whatnot. They shut the toilets down to 9.
Oh my God!
9 toilets in the city. That was the scam of 9/11, and they've only opened. They might have 40 now, But the scam of 9/11. Here we are, 18 years later, and the hoax of box cutters has caused, the Fumit, what do you call it? Fumit freaks who come up with an ad. So that they can get pictures of the turds.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's
great.
right now.
WCBN, the Pat
Dave, how long
McDonough
have you
show,
lived in
Ron.
San Francisco?
Tonight.
So you've been there a lot. The
Hello?
last time I took my wife to San
Oh, I
Francisco.
can't hear you. Try to call back.
For her birthday. We spent a couple of weeks there. A
Horrible.
while back. It has been a while. And we love San Francisco. We loved the whole area. We loved Napa Valley. We loved everything about it. Right now, I don't think I would really want to come out there. From everything I see on the tube and everything I have read.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about. The food
WCBM, the Pat McDonough Show. Ron Savage speaking. Who's calling tonight?
Really want the pictures.
I
and
got
that's
you
why
now.
they came up
Who's
with
this?
the app.
This,
I'm sorry?
Crap out.
It's not everything is real about.
Oh, Claude, yeah, man. Okay, let me get you on
like I was saying, they might have.
And where you calling from?
Toilets. They have as many as 65,000 Uber drivers.
Okay. Promise City, you're up right after this guy, Dave, man.
Taxis in this city. Now all these Uber drivers are coming in from all over the Bay Area. And all
Hold on,
over
Claude. Good to hear from you, and I'll put you on the
150
second time,
miles
second,
from
right
home.
after this.
Yeah.
So they can
All right,
pick
hold
up a few fares in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And you
2 minutes.
If you look for that app, you're going to find that there's a whole bunch of Uber drivers that are dropping a load between the parking spots. It's not a funny thing when
Oh my God.
the city believes the 9/11 hoax. I'm a 9/11 truther, and there is no reason to shut down toilets in a tourist city. And I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. She's had 18 years to deal with this thing. She should have impeached George Bush and Dick Cheney. She should have impeached Trump months ago, and she's another, sorry example of a Democrat.
Wait a minute. Wait. Dave, you got to back up a second. What charge should they have impeached Trump on?
So have you read the Mueller report?
The Mueller report, yes. Yeah.
You have read it.
I haven't read all 405 pages, but there is nothing in there that meets the requirements of impeachment.
Right?
I haven't read it. I haven't read all 405 pages. Have you?
Well, all it takes is to read the intro, where they acknowledge that the Russians did interfere with the race, and they say in there that not only did they hack the Democrats, but they hacked the Republicans as well.
Right. Okay.
So
All right.
the Republicans crying, saying that nothing happened in the Mueller report. That's not true. The Republicans, if they were honest,
There was no.
that they got hacked by the Russians.
There was no. Mueller found that there was no evidence of collusion with Donald Trump with the Russian government. That's what the collusion was. It's not. It has to do with Trump and the Russians, not with the Russians and the Russians.
So you haven't read the report then?
So, but you haven't read the report either, because you would know what I said was right. I've read part of it, and I have read that part, and I know that I'm right about that.
That's why Barr is under contempt, because
No, Barr is under contempt because I am sitting next to a very fine attorney right here, and I'm talking like Barr was asked to release stuff that is illegal to release, and if he does release it, then he'll be outside of the frame of the work of the law. So he can't release it. It's a trap. The whole thing is a trap. You can't do it.
I said that 9/11, and one of the scams of 9/11 was they took only 11 congressmen and senators, and they put them in a group that have the ability to read all the top secret stuff. And there's only 11 of them, senators and congressmen, that can really read the truth, right?
Okay.
Well, just a couple of years ago, they scammed that down to 8 people, and even those 8 people can't see the full Mueller report.
Well, no, actually, anyone in Congress can go to the Department of Justice and read the redacted report. What you said was reported on MSNBC, and it's not fact. You can go there. If you're a member of Congress, you can go to a room and sit there and read the unredacted report, period. You can. Dave, thank you very much for your call. I appreciate it. I love your city, and I hope you get everything straightened out there. I know we're getting very close to a break.
We're on top of it.
Is it time now? We have a minute to go or so?
We're on top of a break.
Okay, so we're going to take a brief intermission, and we'll be back after this word from our sponsor.
Allow me to offer some sound advice. More than 35 million men, women,
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to forhims.com/able. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's really good news. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/able. That's forhims.com/able for your first month for just $5. forhims.com/able.
Are you the parent of a blind child? The National Federation of the Blind knows blindness does not have to hold your child back. With support, education, and mentoring, your child can turn her dreams into reality. We know because we are parents who have made it happen. Visit us at nfb.org/parents to learn how we can help you and your family. National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.
Hi, I'm Ice-T. As a veteran, I know that for many former servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Every day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and sadly, 20 take their own lives. When nothing else helps, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, rescues animals in need of forever homes and trains them to become free, life-saving service dogs for our nation's veterans. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
allow me to offer some sound advice. More than 35 million men, women, and children have hearing loss, and the number is growing. You need to begin your journey toward healthy hearing now by calling Clarity and Comfort Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. The center is located in Perry Hall. Begin your journey to healthy hearing by calling Clarity and Comfort Hearing Center at 410-256-1006. This message is sound advice.
My mom lived with ovarian cancer for 4 years and through multiple recurrences before we lost her when I was 15 years old. Treatment options were limited then. Between each recurrence, all we could do was retreat with chemotherapy and watch and wait and hope. But now, women with recurrent ovarian cancer have options like maintenance therapies that can delay recurrence. These options mean power in an otherwise powerless situation. Declare, not on my watch.
This next one goes out to the caller from California.
And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
Hello there, I'm Frank Marchand filling in for Pat McDonough. Welcome to Super Citizen Radio. We are so glad you're here. And tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I hope you're up bright and early and watch super easy for you to say, Super Citizen Television on My TV, Baltimore. And that song just went out to Bob in California, who just called in from San Francisco. God bless you, Bob.
Yes.
We're glad you called in. Now we're talking about crime in Baltimore. Pat's not here tonight because he's talking to a veteran group, and he said to say hello, and he misses everybody, but he'll be back again next week after he talks to these folks tonight. But we're talking about crime in Baltimore. We've got Claude on the line. Claude, what do you have in mind tonight?
Okay, you want to talk about
about crime in Baltimore, okay? I was a former law enforcement officer
There you go.
in the great streets of Baltimore.
You know, you're there. You're front line.
Who's the attorney with you?
Attorney William Bowie.
Minutes to your neck.
B-U-I-E.
What are you, a criminal attorney, sir?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, I'm a private investigator, and I have my own business. I'm getting started.
Great.
And,
That's good.
and we're talking about, crime on these streets, okay? Now, when the police officer cannot do his job because of this consent decree, where he stops somebody hanging on these corners, that you know is damn well up to no good, and then he makes an arrest, then they throw it out, like Marilyn Mosby throws it. How are you going to stop to get these guns off these streets if you don't do any stop and frisk? Now, I'm not saying as an attorney, don't take this the wrong way, sir, because I agree. I was an officer of the court as well as you, and I agree to uphold the law to the highest in the Constitution. I don't believe in violating people's rights, but there's a way to do it the right way and get these guns off the streets.
What did
But I think he makes a good point. I mean,
he does. I was going to agree with him.
Yeah, New York. To be honest with you, New York. That's primarily what they did. They had an aggressive stop and frisk program.
Well, now that you said that, it's just coincidental. A couple weeks ago, I went up to the Big Apple,
Right.
and I met the New York City Emergency Service Unit. They're their rescue unit of the police department.
Uh-huh.
They do it all.
Uh-huh.
And I was at the Manhattan precinct, the Midtown 13th precinct. They were
Right.
very nice people. And we went to the cell block area, and I said, now, how do you deal with people up in your face and whatnot, giving you a problem, interfering, sticking their nose in the police business? He said, see these cells? These are all these non-believers. We lock them up. He said, even if it's still bullshit to get rid of them for 8 hours, we get rid of the problem for 8 hours. And I wasn't accosted or anything up there.
Right.
But, I mean,
Well, and really, Claude, it's not supposed to be so great up there under de Blasio right now.
Well, sir, I'm telling you, I had no problems.
Son of a gun.
But but in agreeing with this former officer, they do have a per capita. They have a lower crime rate than we have in Baltimore, and that can be attributed to in part because they did have an aggressive stop and frisk program. I mean, that can't be disputed.
And that was Rudy Giuliani,
and
right?
that was me.
Well, I mean, here, according to the consent decree, you can't tell them to get off the corner. You can't tell them this. You can't tell them that. They can record you. It's okay. You can't tell them to back off and get out of your face when you're doing an investigation.
But I think it goes back to, and I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with you. I just think it goes back to this whole Freddie Gray thing, and
Right,
it was a shift after Freddie Gray. And I'm a defense attorney saying this now, but it seemed like
you know what? I mean, I agree with you 100%. It didn't start on this Freddie Gray stuff. You're right. But now listen, what I'm going to tell you is the cop in the Southwest, the sergeant. Now he told the lieutenant to back off, and you don't tell somebody higher up than you to back off. He was trying to de-escalate the situation.
Right.
Now, if this officer did what he did to this guy, he's wrong as two left shoes. I will agree with the people 100%. But if you stuck your nose in my business when I was doing police work, I would tell you one time, you're interfering, please back off, or you're going to go to jail with him.
Right.
But now they don't want you to stop anybody. They won't even lock anybody up for trespassing on your property when you told these people to leave numerous times.
Right.
And the police even advise them to leave.
Right.
They will not lock them up. They tell you to go file charges.
Claude, do you live in Baltimore now?
Yeah, my detective agency's in Baltimore.
Okay, how long have you been in Baltimore?
I've lived in Baltimore all my life, my friend.
Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 53. When Mayor Schaefer was around, I was.
That's who I was going to ask about. Now, he was the man.
And I love Mayor Schaefer. I love the Petrio. I loved them all back then. And, the Democrats weren't bad people at that time.
Well, you're right. It was a different atmosphere. There were yellow dog Democrats.
Right.
Who actually, I think JFK would have been a Republican by today's measuring tape. I don't think he would have been a Democrat.
But, as an attorney, you represent these people. And a lot of these cases where these police are being sued, there's a friend of mine that just got indicted. He was found guilty of assault. And he didn't, the suspect didn't make a complaint. The state's attorney's looking for these people. Now, somebody needs to investigate the state's attorney.
Well, there has I will acknowledge there has been definitely a shift in terms of to some I would describe it as attacking the police.
Right. But the only thing, sir, is the state prosecutor's office has to investigate her. Nobody else can investigate her, and they won't do nothing.
Well, there's going to be an election. She's elected, so that she can be voted out of office.
Why? But
I mean,
listen, I have heard that she might run for mayor and might get elected.
Right.
What do you think of that?
I've heard that same thing. I heard.
Well, even if she does run for mayor, she can't tell the police how to do their job.
That's absolutely correct.
Well, she tells the police which laws she's going to enforce.
Correct.
Doesn't she tell the police which law she's going to enforce?
Well, that's true, but in fairness to even what this former officer is saying, even under her administration, after this Freddie Gray thing, the murders really doubled from where it was at previously. Right. And there's been no real policy or how we're going to get the murder rate down.
Now, sir, I worked in an all-black housing project, okay? And I locked up many bad dudes in there. And you know what? The people respect me to this day that I see on the street. They talk to me and everything because I treat them like people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Well, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Kind of like an old school Baltimore situation, but I think that I had a very unfortunate situation after the Freddie Gray event had happened, and I was born and raised in Baltimore. Yes. It was funny, doing jail visits and everything else. I would usually stop at Lexington Market to go to get some hot dogs.
Right.
And I parked my car in a lot, and I'm seeing these guys. They're fighting right in front of Lexington Market. And I see the Lexington Market police struggling, really getting hurt. Regular police didn't want to jump into it because they're afraid that they might get charged with something. And I could see why police would do that after Freddie Gray, based upon everything that had happened. Right. I actually knew one of the officers that was charged in the Freddie Gray situation, and I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of respect for this officer.
Where's your law office, sir?
I'm right downtown at 312 North Charles Street. I've always been downtown. I was at the 12 South Calvert Street before that. I've always been downtown. I'm kind of like a downtown guy.
Do you need a good private investigator?
Well, you can find me. I'm at 410-576-7666. We always are in need of a good investigator.
Because I help homicide now, helping them with cases.
Claude, let me ask you a question, Claude. Would you advise a young person to go into the police officer business?
No, I would not.
Okay, tell me why.
Because the police are being sent to jail for doing their job.
Yeah. It's risky. I see what he's saying. It's actually really risky. Think about this. You're a police officer. You're supposed to be upholding the law. You're going to stop a situation. Next thing you know, you're a person about to go to jail. That's a strange chain of events.
But as an attorney, I'm not saying if the sergeant did what he did, sir, he's wrong. You know what I mean?
No, I don't disagree with your standpoint, but I'm just telling you, I'm defense counsel, and I have seen a shift from pro police to anti-police.
Yeah, but I don't have a problem. You know what I mean? If the police are doing wrong, is they deserve what they got because you don't violate people's rights.
You don't violate people's rights. But I'm gonna tell you, in New York, they're stop and frisk. They had to get it. They had to be right on the edge of constitutionality to be able to get that situation straight in terms of having aggressive stop and frisk. Baltimore City is out of control.
The only place I was accosted was in Newark at a train station. Somebody went to go through my pockets, check me for change.
Right.
Some homeless guy, and I told him, "You don't get out of my kick that living in the chip house."
Yeah.
But
Claude, Claude, can I ask you another question? Did you call us about a month or so ago when they had that death downtown? That was the woman was killed in the projects, and you said you weren't sure. I remember the call. Do you remember this, Bill?
Yeah.
Claude called in and said, "I can't say for sure, but I think it was probably the husband that had something to do with it."
Yeah.
And when I was watching that on television, Claude, I thought about you. As a matter of fact,
I know I'm a good investigator.
You're a good investigator. You should contact William R. Bowie III. He'd love to talk to you, I'm sure, because you were right on. Because I told my wife when that came on, I said, we were talking to Claude on the air about this.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly what the story was.
Well, I know the area from working up there, and there's cameras all around there, and there's no homeless people that hang there.
Claude, tell me how they can fix the city.
How can we fix the city?
Yeah.
Well, you let the police do our job. You let them do what they got to do to clean it up. If they got to make arrests, you make arrests. If the state's attorney wants to drop it, that's up to them. But if it's a good arrest, let the arrest go through. Now, there was a guy with some cocaine, 20-some bags of cocaine. Matter of fact, the guy that was assaulted by the sergeant, they let him go and drop the charges on cocaine.
Right.
And why was that?
Now, there's something funny about that story.
Why was that? Why'd they drop the charges?
They said the commissioner dropped the charges. I don't see how he could do that.
I don't see either.
He told the police to drop the charges. Do not charge him.
Do you think somebody might have known somebody?
Well, I'm thinking somebody knows Miss Mosby, but you didn't,
We didn't hear from you.
But that's another story.
Yeah, well, didn't Rudy Giuliani walked into New York City and it was just a total nightmare. And he cleaned that place up really, really.
It was a mess.
I remember there used to be all kinds of people walking the streets that are not walking.
You remember Madison Park Apartments?
Yeah, I do.
I was police up in there, and I cleaned that up, but they sued us for $2 million, Billy Murphy, or great honorable Mr. Murphy, but he didn't get nothing from me because I was honest about what I said at the deposition. And, I said, these people that we locked up were causing problems.
Right.
We just didn't violate people's rights. I said, you can bring these people in here that I locked up, and they'll tell you that I did my job.
Right.
And they sued, the woman sued, but she was aggravating people, and she had drug dealers in her house, and this is all fact, that what I'm telling you.
Right.
And they sued, and they settled out of court, I guess, because it wasn't worth the aggravation.
Right.
And Madison Park was closed down, which was the best thing they were trying to get done anyway. That was the best thing they could have done anyway, because it wasn't up but drug infested and shootings in there, and it was just a problem eyesore to the Holton Hill community and the Reservoir Hill.
Right.
But now it's nothing there. And Mosby lives right up on the corner of it.
Well, she'll be running for election for something, whether it be mayor or state's attorney again, and then people Baltimore City, because I actually think the demographics of Baltimore City are changing, and I think the economic base may be changing again because you're going to have more affluent people moving into town.
Do you know that this is the first time in history, and it's funny you bring this up, 7,400 people actually left Baltimore that went down, population went down for the first time.
It's going to keep going down, brother. It's going to keep going down. Because
7,400.
But I think at some point it'll stop. I think at some point more affluent people are going to move in. It's going to be like D.C. I mean, a lot of areas in D.C., U Street, 14th Street, Georgia Avenue, were all drug infested and everything else. And as they started to revitalize the city, got better. Yeah, Anacostia was crazy. Woo. Boy,
that's all built up now.
Yeah, it's all built up. And I think Baltimore City's the city's going to change real estate. The real estate is still valuable. And I think as the real estate becomes more valuable, property taxes increase, you have a more affluent base.
How can the real estate be valuable when the water is so expensive to pay for in Baltimore City? The taxes are
because I think
high.
eventually the people that run the city will change. You can get new people to run the city that care about the city, and I think you'll have residents that are going to take more interest attacking those in government.
I think we should keep what's the name in there, Mayor Young, because Jack Young is doing a good job.
Yeah.
Jack Young is a
but
great
the
guy.
strange thing is he says he doesn't want to run. Actually, he seems to be a little bit more. I would agree with you, more apt at doing his job than probably the last couple of people we've had.
Jack Young knows more about that job than the last three mayors knew combined.
Yeah.
Because he's been around for so long.
He's been around.
He knows that city inside and out.
And they need to bring some of the old police people back to the police department to help run it.
But
they were doing that, but a lot of my friends will not come back.
No. And I don't think that I think one of the reasons Jack might not want to run is because he might see the writing on the wall. And I believe the next mayor of Baltimore City will be an African-American woman.
Why you say that?
Because that's what it's been the last three times.
I mean, it's going to be the same.
I think it's going to be the same thing again.
It doesn't matter who's the mayor,
because
whatever, as long as they can do the job.
Yeah, I think you could be green.
It doesn't matter.
I
totally agree with that comment. Just feel that the way it has gone, first with Sheila, and then we had Catherine. We're going to have Joan Pratt will be a good mayor.
What do you think about Mary Bubala that got fired for what she said?
Well, that was the issue because that was on TV when she said that. She got fired for saying exactly what you just said. She said exactly what you just said and got fired.
But I didn't say anything terribly wrong.
No, well, I'm just telling you. That's what she said. She said the same thing.
And I was pushing the envelope on
Yeah,
purpose
she said the
to see
same
if they
thing.
knew that. But
I said the same thing.
But I didn't say anything that was degrading to anyone.
Even did Mary Duval.
No, she said the same thing.
Right.
And I understand why you said what you said. So let me make sure you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand why you said it. It's just that there's no basis for that other than a historical precedent that they were the last couple of marriages for African American women. I don't really think that's the problem. I think you need somebody that's definitely born and raised in Baltimore that cares about Baltimore. They could be a green Martian. As long as they grew up in Baltimore and care about Baltimore, I think that's the main thing. I don't think it's male, female.
I think Jack Young would make an incredible mayor.
I think he would. I think he would too.
And I think Joan Pratt would make.
And I think you need somebody like
this. We
this.
have to take a break. I can hear the music here.
3 minutes.
Ron's going to come running in here and take the mic out.
Yes, we've been talking to him.
Okay, we'll be back.
We'll be
Don't
back
you
in a
dare
second.
go away.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Thanks, squad.
You make my soul into the night, saved by the light of a love strong. You can count on me, count on my
High pressure has slid offshore. We've got a cold front that will approach from the north on Sunday and then kind of stall out nearby on into Monday, and we'll see increased opportunities for rain. Now tonight, maybe a stray shower late. We'll fall back into the upper 60s. Some early sun for Sunday. Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Strong gusty winds are possible. Mid to upper 80s for the high. Scattered storms ahead for Sunday night. The chances for those afternoon thunderstorms on Monday. I'm Jeff Eno for the Weather Channel for Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
When your vehicle needs help, Jeff's Automotive Services is the place to go. Your vehicle will be worked on by Automotive Service ASE certified technicians. Jeff services all vehicles, including cars, SUVs, trucks, both medium and light duty, and there are always specials available at Jeff's Automotive Services. Just call 410-682-5700. Jeff's Automotive Services is locally owned and conveniently located in the heart of Essex at 313 Mace Avenue. Jeff's is the winner of the Best Automotive Service Award for 2019 by the Avenue Newspaper's Readers Poll. Jeff's offers 10% discounts to all seniors and active military members and would like to thank our military members for their service. Jeff's Automotive Services has a name you can trust. Remember, call 410-682-5700 for Jeff's Automotive Services.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than just serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable. Serving part-time lets you attend school full-time while you take advantage of education benefits that can help you graduate debt-free. If a civilian career is your goal, serving part-time allows you to work at a full-time job. The skills, qualities, and contacts you'll develop in the Guard can open doors to a great civilian career. Want to serve but worried about being away from friends and family? Part-time service in the Army National Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want while you enjoy the many benefits of serving your community and nation. You owe it to yourself to learn more about how the Army National Guard can fit into your life. Visit NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Maryland Army National Guard, aired by the Maryland, D.C., Delaware Broadcasters Association and this station.
Realtor Vinny Steele can sell your home fast and for top dollar. Yes, your home sold, guaranteed, or Vinny will buy it. Call 1-800-834-VINNY, 1-800-834-VINNY, or go to VinnyHasTheBuyers.com.
We hire off-duty police officers to patrol our neighborhood.
Okay.
We're so advanced, far advanced with our paperwork on this. They use a 3-ring notebook with forms in it, and they sign in on the form when they come on duty.
That is amazing, Terry.
Well, we are efficient. We will not give them a pencil or a pen. They have to bring their own. So,
It's the Gipp Commando Show, Sunday nights from 10 until 1 p.m. exclusively on Talk Radio 680 WCBM. Listen Sundays at 9 a.m. for Radio Mass of Baltimore, the live liturgy of the Sunday Mass from St. Ignatius Church in downtown Baltimore. And again at 6 p.m. for a rebroadcast Following the Mass, stay tuned for a message from the Archdiocese of Baltimore on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Would you like to retire with confidence knowing that you have a retirement plan in place to help carry you through your entire retirement and allows you to retire with confidence without the fear of ever running out of money? What if you could capture significant market gains without the risk or the anxiety from traditional market strategies? How would you like to learn how to capture those gains without paying excess fees? Now, you want the straight answer? Talk with my friend Rod Barowie and the team at SaveRetirementSolutions.com. Call them now, 410-266-1120. That's 410-266-1120. You can schedule your visit with Rod and his team today, and you're going to discuss about investing in retirement, the stuff that Wall Street doesn't really want you to know. You discover strategies that will grow when the markets are up, but don't lose value when the markets are down. So having money for your retirement, that's a big deal. Call the Safe Retirement Solutions team, 410-266-1120. Schedule your visit today. You tell them Sean Hannity says hi.
Prescription products require knowledge and determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The outrageously expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And Hims makes it extra affordable. Right now, get your first month supply for free. All you pay is just $5 for your medical consultation when you go to 4hims.com/able. After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill, doesn't it? Plus, you won't need an awkward in-person doctor's appointment to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. It's affordable, private, and incredibly easy. Nobody likes dealing with ED. Now, thanks to Hims, nobody has to. And that's
We're going to come back with Santana, Evil Ways.
4hims.com/able. That's 4hims.com/able for your first month for just $5. 4hims.com/able.
You got to change your evil ways, baby. Before I stop loving you, you got to change, baby.
And now more of the Pat McDonough Show on Talk Radio 680 WCBM and worldwide at WCBM.com.
And we are back, and this is Frank Marchant and William Arboe III filling in for Pat McDonough, who is visiting with a veterans group tonight. He's delivering a message, I'm sure, of great importance, and he will be back next weekend. And we were talking about Baltimore City, crime in Baltimore City, and what the political climate will be. My thinking is because there are more black women that vote in Baltimore City than black men, this is why they tend to vote for black women for mayor. And that's why we've had 3 black women mayors. My guess, if I had to put money on a bet, the next mayor of Baltimore City will be Mosby. That's what I think.
I think that's a high probability. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. Definitely seems to be popular. So
I do not think that she will fix the crime unless she does the same thing that Rudy Giuliani did in New York, and that's not her character. I don't think.
Yeah, I think you probably corrected that. I mean, certainly that what you say seems to be accurate. But I mean, who knows? Maybe she'll become mayor and have a change of heart. I don't know. But somebody's going to have to do something ultimately, because the way things work now is the police basically are put in a situation where they got a whole lot to deal with. We have an extreme crime problem in Baltimore, and I think at least since Freddie Gray, it's been really bad.
Who has more murders, New York City or Baltimore?
Baltimore. Even though they have about 8 million plus people, we have about 550,000 people. They generally are below 290 killings per year. We generally are above 300, even though there's a vast difference in the population. I read some statistics that indicate that the only other place, you have to go outside of the United States to really get a comparative with Baltimore, Guatemala City, Guatemala. And of course, there's that other city called Detroit.
If you can't hear me, I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, Detroit is just completely off the chain. So, and we can look at, I mean, certainly, this is where one thing that about, because I think from a federal level, the Republican standpoint is secure, meaning that the country is being well run. I think when you start to get into these states, and in particular some of these large cities that have been Democratic strongholds, the proof is in the pudding that, after 50 years of flawed leadership, you get murder capital, such as Baltimore. And I think that's what we have. Baltimore is a murder capital that's been based upon flawed leadership for some time. And I think there are other cities that would indicate the same, where think about this. Maryland's an interesting state because we got Hogan as the governor. Seems to be well liked, and he's a very good governor without question in terms of running the state of Maryland. Maybe it's time to give a Republican a chance for Baltimore City for mayor.
I don't see how that could happen, but any city in the country
that has
been one party system for this long is corrupt.
Let's use your logic, okay? Yeah. Your logic is that Black women vote for Black women. So that logic would indicate that Black people vote for Black people, okay? So what if there were a Black Republican that ran for office in Baltimore City, whether it be male or female? Perhaps that person would have some chance at being able to be the mayor.
Totally agree.
Right. So it's not this absolute, it could never happen. There is a possibility. Let me be honest with you. Black people seem like they're crazy about Hogan. So if it was somebody that had a
Trump,
30% but if you got somebody, and I always go back to, and I think the other gentleman mentioned it, the former officer, Schaefer, and I don't mean no harm. Black people love Schaefer.
They did.
I was a kid when Schaefer grew up. Schaefer loved Schaefer. So that was in the days, to be honest with you, when I really didn't feel like it was a black and white Baltimore to some degree. But you were just either you're from Baltimore or you're not. Right. I think at the end of the day, even when you come to this political party stuff, really some of this stuff's got to come down to it. Either you're from Baltimore or you're not. And if you are from Baltimore, then we need to work together to make this city a better place. Despite kind of the race thing, gender, or whatever, it's all about Baltimore, making Baltimore a better place. Because there's nowhere in the world that you can keep having a place that has this extremely high murder rate. And everybody, I'll be honest with you, everybody looks around each other and says it's okay. That's basically what's going on.
But it's not okay if you want to have people come down the city.
It's not, and just from a real human standpoint, in terms of the loss of life, the damage to families, and that's the damage to the families of victims, defendants who are put in prison for the rest of their life, who throw their life away, who've thrown somebody else's life away. It's just a bunch of carnage. So, it's people really have to say, well, what's the solution? How can we work together to kind of come up with a solution? And it may come from, just like Trump, it may come from an unorthodox source. Trump came out the blue. It's Kanye said, like Superman.
Yeah,
came out the blue.
You're right.
Like Superman. So the next mayor of Baltimore City may be somebody who doesn't necessarily fit the size, the shape, and the color of what is expected of getting a mentor. Sometimes your mentor does shape and color that you would expect them to be in, but as long as
different area every Saturday from 8 to 10, the show starts. From 8 to 10, my brother.
Maybe we have to look for some
you
people
too
who
can
have
join
unorthodox backgrounds and may not fit the mold that's been presented previously to be a good mayor.
Then maybe William R. Bowie III should run for mayor. The city of Baltimore.
If I lived in Baltimore City, I'd run. I live in Baltimore County. If I lived in Baltimore City, I grew up in the street. I have a good understanding of what's going on, from the people that are very poor, the people that are disadvantaged, the people that feel like they haven't gotten a fair shake in life, to the other side, which has been the people who have made it in Baltimore. And I love Baltimore. I love it from my heart. But it pains me when I go by Lexington Market. I see people out there selling these opiate-based pills. I see people nodding on the corners in this heroin lean. I see people begging. Somebody was breaking in the cars in our parking lot at the office. I had to run them down and drag the guy down and flag the police down and risk my own life because I knew the guy had a knife on him. It's just off the chain.
Now, should the mayor of Baltimore, whoever the mayor is, do the same policies they did in New York, search and frisk?
I think that they probably would have to, understanding that you want to try to be within what the Fourth Amendment search and seizure, you want to be constitutional with it, but to stop the immediate threat. See, this is like somebody bleeding. The first thing you got to do is stop the bleeding. Then we can kind of figure out where the injury is. Well, you got to stop the bleeding first. So we're in a city with 300 plus murders. That's where we go every year. you got to stop the bleeding first. And then once we stop the bleeding, we can start to focus on some other things, such as some of the social programs to kind of get people on the right track so they don't fall into criminality. And for the people who have fallen into criminality, we can focus on some criminal justice for when they get out of prison to make sure that they find jobs and they have adequate employment. And part of that, too, is race relations. I'm going to be honest with you, a lot was not talked about, and I don't even know if I should talk about it here, is that many of the people who are the targets of violence, especially in downtown Baltimore, are white people being attacked by African-American youth.
And that's a new thing.
And I know you can't say that because you white, so you can't say what I just said.
Oh, no, I would say that.
Well, you can say it. Well, because you'd be a racist if you said what I just said.
If I thought that was true, I would say that. Do you think
2 minutes? Hardly.
Do you think that?
Do you think it's true?
I don't know. I don't go in the city.
I don't ask if you don't know based upon hard fact. I ask what you think. What's your opinion?
In the city, so I don't.
All I'm just saying is,
what I understood was most crime in Baltimore City was black on black.
It is black on black. I'm talking about at the harbor. I'm not talking about
the inner harbor.
I'm not talking about in the hood, the west side, east side, south Baltimore.
You're talking about like at the casino, waiting outside of the casino,
yeah,
saying, "Did you win tonight?"
Yeah, boy, coming out. I forgot the steak place. Sullivan's a really good steak.
Oh, cool,
place.
yeah.
Couple got beat up. You know what I mean?
Engineer?
So,
yeah, I'm the producer. We'll have fun. Don't worry. I already have the opening of the show.
Dressed nice for this job, don't you?
Huh?
Certainly dressed nice for this
I got a face for radio. No, listen. When we start, we might have subject matter. You got the weather, and then a couple commercials.
I've done this show many times.
Oh, well, then you know. Then you'll say something, then I'll start with the music.
I'm going to talk about chemistry.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I don't know. See if the audience wants to do politics. I don't know. I'll see what the calls come in.
Well, just, it's open mic line. That's all. That's good. That's good. Uh-oh. 40 seconds, hard break.
We're going to have to wrap it up, but geez, we enjoyed being with you tonight. We really have. William R. Bowie III, I'm Frank Marchand, and we have had a wonderful night filling in for our good buddy Pat McDonough, who's been out tonight talking to the Veterans Group. And we will be back the next time, and I'm not sure when that's going to be, but whenever it is, we're going to look forward to talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stay connected with stimulating talk and breaking news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM, Baltimore, and WCBM.com.
No doubt Iran's responsible. I'm Jay Metzler, Fox News.
They are lashing out because the president has gotten tough on them, and rightfully so.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy calls recent attacks on oil tankers near the Strait of Hormuz payback by the Iranians because President Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal and imposed new economic sanctions. McCarthy appearing on Fox's Justice with Judge Janine a short time ago. So South Carolina Republican Senator
How's that, huh?
Here's what's going on. They're feeling the pressure and they're pushing back. The government in a corner.
Oh, and then you got birthday. That's the more. Look, take it easy. It was a great show. Come on next week. I'm telling you now, it's going to be terrific.
But this religious theocracy is.
Britain agrees Iran was responsible for Thursday's